Sawadee krab, everyone. This is Joe from Raconteur Animation, and today I wanted to give you a super quick tip on how to add appealing movement throughout your animations. And this is a technique that I've used for the last almost 10 years on different product and client animations to just add some appealing movement super quickly. So I have 3 examples set up of how to use this, and I also wanted to compare the movement with different types of keyframes to give you a good idea, a good comparison for how it looks. So first one here, this is linear keys. If we open up our timeline, we can see what that looks like. Standard linear keys. Second one, it's a little bit better. We've got some standard easy ease, or Bezier curves if you want to call it that. Third one, this is where we'll make our tweaks, and basically the trick is to make this curve asymmetrical. So our primary movement is on the x-axis. I'm going to just drag this handle, hold down Control to lock the handle here, the Bezier handle, drag it over, and then I'm going to shorten this one up slightly. So what that's going to do is it's going to start the movement fast. It's going to hit hard in the beginning and then have a very slow, soft movement at the end. And it's much more appealing. That's a little bit much. I'm going to soften that up a bit. That's better. And we can isolate it here so you can get a good feeling for it. And we can also do it the other way around. So say we want it to start slowly and then end quick. Boom. I can even exaggerate that even more. You can compare it with the other 2 here. Add some dynamicism. So example number 2, you can also do this with rotation. Got 3 examples here. First one, we're going to switch this to linear. So in this case, it's just going to be a perfect loop. Let's see if I can fix that to give you an idea of how that's actually moving. Stop. Yeah, there we go. Number 2, this is the standard Bezier curve. You can see it has a nice slow intro, slow outro. I'm going to actually tweak these because I'm not sure why they're starting in that orientation. It's a bit strange. Something having to do with the grouping, I believe. So that's a little bit better. Okay, so example number 2, we have a standard Bezier curve. Example number 3, we're going to apply the same treatment as before. Keep this beginning shorter, have a nice soft outro. And what this is going to give us is that it's going to almost look like somebody spun it with their hand. If we exaggerate it even more, you get even more of that look. And of course, like before, we can flip this curve around to do it the other way. so it accelerates more towards the end. And it's also worth noting that this is the way that I prefer to do it in Cinema 4D, is with simply by adjusting these handles here. I'm going to reset this back to the default Bezier curve. Another way of doing it is to go on the midpoint and set an in-between, which is the old term for a keyframe in the middle of an animation, or in between two main keyframes. And we can also get a similar effect just by adjusting that midpoint here. And you can see the handles automatically adjust to help smooth things out. This technique tends to work a little bit better in Maya, and I prefer just using the handles on the primary keys in Cinema 4D, but ultimately the result is pretty similar or indistinguishable. So and the advantage of doing it this way is that you have fewer keyframes to manage. So here's a comparison between those three. And then the third example place we can use this is with camera movements. So the first camera movement here, this is with a linear key, and this is a camera with a target on it, which I use for easily focusing on objects. Second one here, we can see what it looks like with the Bezier curve, which is pretty good. It's not bad. But if we really want to get some more visual interest in that, I'm going to open up camera number 3 here, and most of our movement is on the position of the x-axis, which makes this fairly easy. This can be a bit more difficult when you're dealing with multiple axes, but I'm going to just grab all 3 here, drag them over, shorten it up here, get that nice asymmetrical curve like we talked about before. Now we have a real nice soft landing at the end there. But you'll see this is a little bit weird because the target is lagging behind. So we need to give the target the same treatment and make sure that once we hit the kind of the midpoint of that move, right around here, that we're going to be really close to being onto our target object there. That's better. You can see how much different that feels between, say, this one. I'll deselect that so it's not a distraction. It's soft, but it has no life to it. Versus this one. You get jerked out of that first frame and then just really softly land in the second one. It's much more interesting. So yeah, that's a technique that I've used over the years just to add some visual interest to animations. It literally only takes a couple seconds and just adds that nice little spice on top. Hope that was helpful, everybody. See you next time.